Sylvia Garcia is here, and you know Sylvia Garcia. Commissioner, President of the National Association of Elected and Appointed Officials, ladies and gentlemen, Sylvia Garcia.
Thank you. Now, before I start, I'm going to ask you all to just remain calm. This is a peaceful rally. Remember, we just took a pledge, and we said it's justice for all. And that's what we want, is justice for all. Justice for all! Now, first I want to thank you all for coming here. Isn't this a great sunshiny day in Houston, Texas? We're here to add our voices to the millions of Texans who are speaking up to defend our schools, our health care, and our future. Yeah. Governor Perry, you can boo. And all those other friends that he has in Austin have not apparently taken the Pledge of Allegiance because they don't seem to believe in justice for all, do they? They have spent the last 10 years slowly wrecking our budget. You know, I used to be city controller in this building on the 8th floor. I know a little bit about budgets. And I can tell you, they have truly messed up the state budget. Now they want to make up the difference by shortchanging students and kicking our seniors out of nursing homes. And I can tell you this, that if anyone's under the impression that the governor is spending all his time looking over the books, making sure we have some money somewhere, we know where he is, in Las Vegas signing books, hunting poor little coyotes, and worrying about Washington and where he might land over there.
Oh my God, no!
Taking care of business here in Texas. You know, Rick Perry, I think, spends more time working on who to blame but himself.
That's right.
They talk about responsibility, but they don't practice it.
That's right.
When he's not blaming school districts, teachers, illegal immigrants, or the big fat meetings from Washington who send him mandates, he's working hard to distract us from the real issues with those so-called emergencies. Restrictions on ways to vote, the voter ID bill. He's working on doing more Arizona-style paranoia against immigrants. And that sonogram bill. You saw that? That gentleman attacked that man. I hope he doesn't attack me, because quite frankly, the sonogram bill was an attack on all women of Texas. But today, we're all Texans. We know what a real emergency is, don't we? A real emergency is the more than 100,000 teachers and state employees who may face layoffs. Now that's an emergency. A real emergency is the plight of thousands of college students who can't get their degrees because campuses are closing, grant funding is being cut, and scholarships are being slashed. Now that's a real emergency. A real emergency is 43,000, you heard it, 43,000 senior citizens who will be kicked out of nursing homes because they will close. And you know those seniors wouldn't be in that nursing home for the good food. They have nowhere else to go. Now that's a real emergency. And my friends, a real emergency is the thousands of Texans with no jobs who need training, insurance, and job security. That's a real emergency. So I ask you right now, do we know the real emergencies? And who doesn't? Rick Perry doesn't. Austin. The governor's budget brings unnecessary misery to every corner of this state. It's misery today, it's misery tomorrow, and it's going to be misery for many years to come, because what they do today impacts us into the future. Every dollar we cut from preventive health care is a fistful of dollars spent later treating more serious diseases. Every dollar we cut from our at-risk student programs comes back later in terms of prices for prison cells and dollars for detention halls. Every unnecessary layoff is a drag on the economic growth of this state. So yes, Senator Whitmire, today is a day of outrage. It's a day of outrage today, but quite frankly, it's a day of outrage till the session ends at the end of May. Today is just the beginning of our chance to fight back. This is our Texas. We have a voice and we need to make it strong. As strong as Turner said, for them to hear us all the way to Austin. So I ask you again, do we know what an emergency is? Yeah! Do you know who knows? Do you think he knows? No! Are you outraged? Yeah! You know, we heard word late this afternoon that the governor has finally relented and that there may be some deal to use $3.5 billion of the rainy day fund. Now, is that enough? No! I tell you, it's probably not enough, because it depends on what day of the week you ask. It could be a $20 billion deficit or a $30 billion deficit. I tell you what, if I was city controller standing on the steps here right now and said, well, I think the city's deficit is maybe 20, maybe 30. You think you all would like that? No! You'd throw me out of office, right? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that may be what we have in store for Governor Perry and some of his friends in Austin. We know that $3.5 billion of the rainy day fund is not going to be enough. They're going to have to find other sources. They're going to have to find other revenue, because it is about this great state of Texas, and it is about us using today as the beginning for each of us to go back and tell our friends, this place, quite frankly, should have been full all the way to the One Shell Plaza, so that those other folks wouldn't have a sidewalk to stand on. Challenge today is to go back and tell our friends and make sure that people know what's really at stake here. The distractions have got to stop. We've got to tell the story that we cannot let Rick Perry go around and getting away with blaming everybody else except for that guy he sees in the mirror every day, Rick Perry. So I ask you to mobilize. I ask you to organize. I ask you to speak up and be ready and hold Governor Perry and his friends in Austin accountable. That's the only way we're going to have real solutions. And you can start today. We have some tables on the side of each the reflection pool area. There is a petition that you can sign asking them to fix this broken system. There's phone numbers of everybody that you can call. Your voices can be heard. It starts today. One last time. Are you outraged? Yeah! Are you going to go tell your friends? Yeah! Will you hold him accountable? Yeah! Will you make sure the governor knows that we are fed up? We want to save Texas. We love Texas. God bless Texas. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Sylvia Garcia.